Welcome back to the Artefactors Union. I'm your host and foreman, Douglas Scoundrels. Today we're assembling the Latigo Reserves box for the Guild faction and the family keyword. Box contains technically 7 models. Well, my box contained 7 models. I think this is probably the norm going forward, but we have 4 monster hunters now. You can only have 2 of them on the board, but Weird made a couple of alts, and it looks like they put them in the box with the regular sculpts, at least for me. So we'll go ahead and assemble all 4 of them, and then 3 pistoleros, this gentleman right here with the 2 pistols. So this is a regular monster hunter, and this is actually one of the alt sculpts, apparently. So here's our renders. Pistoleros, these gentlemen up top, looking relatively cowboyish, and then the monster hunters kind of more armed to the teeth, if you will, but again, at least according to the sprues, this is a normal monster hunter and this is one of the alts, but we'll just do them in order that I see fit. Alright, so there are actually 7 in this box, although you can only see 5 renders. So let's look at these sprues. Got 3 sprues here. Here are the 3 pistoleros. This is the first sprue marked Monster Hunter Female, Monster Hunter Male. Here's the one that I said was the regular one, I guess. And then alt Monster Hunters here with A and B. Monster Hunter A being the one that's the render on the back of the box. Okay, so let's go ahead and do our pistoleros first, just so that we can do all the monster hunters at once, including the alts. So let's look at their instructions, and then we'll get started on our first one. To make it easy on myself, I'm just going to go left to right, even though their numbering, lettering, whatever, does not match up to the instructions. I will clarify that this one is marked as Pistolero 3 in the instructions. This one is marked Pistolero 2 in the instructions, and this one is marked as Pistolero 1 in the instructions. So, let's start with this guy. Grab the body, add the leg, we'll do the sheath for the sword and the sash on around his waist, and finish up with the cape. I guess it's the cape. Okay. Alright, let's grab the body first and then the leg. Got our body. Leg is going to fit right in there. Shouldn't be too hard. That's a wise stance, my guy. Leg went in fine. Like, legs tend to go in fine because they're nice and big connection points. Okay, so next is going to be the sheath of the sword. It's going to fit right here in this hole and be pointed towards his back. Let's double check. That is going to be this bit. And then this is a sash that will go on his waist as well. Sheath went in just fine. Just make sure it's pressed up against the body as snugly as possible. Our sashy bit is going to go right in there, and it's going to be sweeping this way. The end, the thinner end, has a nice tooth on it, which will fit into that hole. And there we go. I think that's it. So all we have left is the cape, which is going to just fit across your shoulders here. Also went in. Pretty easy. But he's all done. Let's get him on a base. Our first Pistolero de Latigo is done. We're going to call this one Ed. The hardest part for him is probably the stuff on his belt, the sash, and the scabbard just being a little bit fiddly to get on there. But overall, quite an easy model. Let's move on. Our second Pistolero, we will take the body and add the leg first. Do the sword and holsters for the pistols, just go along his lower back right here, and finish with the cape. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's add the leg right here first. And it goes in nice and easy. Now for the sword and the holsters. You can see the nice line where the sword is supposed to sit. The holsters will be on top of it, kind of going over his hips. Yeah, I guess I can just glue that and show you. Okay, that's what it looks like. There are grooves on his side where the holsters will glue to, so keep that in mind. Shouldn't be too hard to see them. I just didn't show them earlier, and I apologize. But now that that's on, we can just do his cape now, which go across the shoulders. Ta-da! All done. That camera's not working for me today. Alright. Put him on a base. The second Pistolero de Latigo is done. We're going to call this one Eddie. Yeah, I guess the hardest part for him was getting the sheath and the holsters situated on his back correctly. Kind of reaching for difficulty here. Yet another easy model. Let's move on. Our third and final Pistolero de Latigo is a few more bits. Nothing looking too hard though. Grab the body as we always do. Add the right leg, the left leg. I think that's the order of them. Then we'll do the arms, which are also attached to the weapons, which are on his back. Then we'll add the head and the cape. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here's the body. The first one we clipped off is going to be our right leg. Looks good. Now our left leg is going to fit right there. Also, very easy and good connection. Now our weapons and the arms. The pistol holster is going to fit right there. The part of the sword sheath is going to be right there. The right arm will connect to this connection point right here. However, the left arm will connect more to the side than anything. The arms will not look complete because they are being covered up by the cape. So it won't look right until the cape's on. But let's go ahead and add that now. Okay, all that rambling hopefully makes a little more sense now. Oh, there we go. I think I can probably adjust that ever so slightly. Alright, anyways, let's go ahead and add our head before we finish with the cape. Sir, smoking is bad for you. Nice easy connection again. Now we can finally do the cape, which should also glue to the arms. Alright. Also went on easy. Overall, 3 easy models. Let's base this guy. The third Pistolero de Latigo is done. We're going to call him Double D. Difficulty, this again is just the stuff on his belt. In this case, aligning his arms correctly with the shoulders. Real easy models, all 3 of them. Let's get on to the more difficult stuff, shall we? Alright, the first set of Monster Hunters, it's going to be the standard ones. And by standard, I mean they have instructions on the weird website. I do not have instructions for the other 2. So once I'm done, well, let's look at the instructions first, shall we? For no particular reason, we'll start with the male monster hunter first. Now we're going to do something I don't do all that often, and just notice it'd be pretty easy to do it here, so we're going to go ahead and do it. We're actually going to cut out the 2 holsters as well as this armor piece, and we'll actually add them to their corresponding limb before we start cutting out and constructing the body. So this slightly thinner holster is going to go on his right leg, which is this one. It's going to attach right there. This thicker holster is going to go on his left leg. It's going to attach right there. And then the armor piece is going to attach to his left forearm right there. Once we've done all of that, then we can cut out the body. And we'll go ahead and add the rest of his bandolier that goes under his arm right there. Then we'll attach the right leg, the right arm, the left arm, and the sword on the back will be last. Alright? So let's cut out this holster and add it to this leg first. Okay. Can wiggle around a little bit, but this is where it's set and it's the most flush against the leg, so I'm pretty sure that's the angle we want. Now we grab this holster and add it right there. This one wiggles slightly less. Angle looks good. Alright, next up, the armor piece attaching to the forearm right here, the thinner part being more towards the wrist. That one can also slide around a bit, so just get it at an angle that you think looks good. Okay, now we can start cutting out the body. Let's start with the torso and the bandolier after that. Alright, torso, our bandolier bit is going to fit right under the arm. There's a slightly wider side of the bit, and that is going to be on the bottom, but obviously you can also just dry fit if you want. Okay, let's go ahead and start adding our legs. Right leg first, and it is the first one we added a holster to. So let's just go over our order. Right leg, right, oh, not that. No, that is right. Right arm, left arm, and then the sword. Oops. Right leg is, yeah. Seam is alright. Let's do our left leg now. Okay, I'm going to try and squeeze these together just a little bit more, but that'll work. Alright, now let's do our right arm. You can see our nice big connection point right here. And there it is. Wiggles just a little bit to make sure the wrist is aligned correctly. Alright, left arm now. Point that thing straight forward. Alright, now sword on the back with the hilt pointed up. Okay, he is all done. Let's base him. The first monster hunter is done. We're gonna call him George. Hardest part for this model was the sheaths on his legs, I guess, getting those on. Although, I guess fitting the bullets underneath his right arm wasn't exactly easy either, but just ever so slightly more difficult than the Pistoleros. Let's move on to the next one. Female Monster Hunter is next. Start by grabbing the body, and then we'll complete the skirt using these two pieces. This one will be more on her left side, and this one will be more on her right. And they are what contains the connection points for the legs, so we'll do the legs next. After that, we'll take this holster and add it to her back, then can do the right arm, the left arm, her head, and the rifle on her back, which will fit right there. So let's grab these three pieces first. Actually, I think we will do this one and then this one first. Okay, here's our body. The first bit, the smaller piece of skirt, is going to fit right in there. So do that now. Okay. Looks pretty good. Next, though, before we complete the skirt, we're actually going to grab the left leg, which is the folded leg. You can kind of see where the foot fits and the leg goes up this way. But it might fit inside of those two pieces, so I figured we'd do it now. This is the leg we're talking about. Okay, there it is attached, and it might have been able to go in after we put the skirt on, but I just wanted to be sure, so now we can go ahead and put the skirt bit over this. There we go. That looks good. Just nudge it a little bit. Alright, and there's the foot, nice and snug. Our other foot is going to go right in there, sort of following this line of the leg. Okay, there is a groove on the inside where this will fit in nice and snug, obviously right underneath the leg there. But her lower half is done. So next we're going to take that very small holster and put it right there. That's fine and dandy. Okay, last four pieces for the mini. We've got our right arm, our left arm, our head, and the gun on the back. Okay, our right arm is going to fit, and the right shoulder go down the body a bit. That looks pretty good. Now left arm, she is pointing forward. This one will take a little bit of holding in place to cure and be in a comfortable position so that you can let go of it. Otherwise it will start to droop. Okay, let's add her head next. Okay. Not as comfortable, not as solid of a connection as I was expecting it to be, but it's not too bad. Just wigglier. Alright, last is the gun going across her back. I believe it is going that way. Yep, there we go. Alright, that's Oliver. She's done. Base time. Second monster hunter is done. We're going to call her Elaine. The hardest part for her was figuring out the situation with the skirt and the left leg. But that's really about it. Just more bits. Model's very pretty. And I think we can move on to the bonus minis. Alright, our alt monster hunters are next. Sadly, there are no instructions for these guys, so we're going to wing it. I think I've got it down, though, how they're supposed to go together. We will assemble this guy first, the box art monster hunter. Yeah, we'll go ahead and grab the bits, the body, like we always do. This sheath will go on his front part of his belt. This will go on his left side of his belt. The connection point is right here. This bottle, that I think it's a Molotov, will go right here on his right side. And then we can do his left arm, his face, and the sword. So body, sheath, Molotov, arm, face, sword. Alright. Our first sheath is the long skinny one, and that is going to glue right in there. That's going in without an issue. Our next sheath is going to fit right on this connection point right here. Okay, that one is a little less obvious. It's obvious how it goes in, but you can see the sort of strap that should be connected to it, letting you know it's in the right spot. Okay, last bit of thing attached to his frickin' pants. The Molotov is going to attach right there. I don't know why. My camera's not focusing. Right? Oh, goodness, right there. Okay. That took a bit of pressure to get it to squeeze onto that connection point, but it's relatively flush now, so we'll call it good. Next is going to be our left arm. This looks awkward at first because whatever the vest thing he's wearing is sticking up, but it's the only way to get that gap closed, so we know it's right. Okay, let's add his face. Okay, another one that took a bit of wiggling to get it to pop in there, but it's very obvious when it's in correctly. So let's finish up with the big sword on his back. Okay. It's all done. Base time. Our first alt monster hunter is done. We're going to call him Jerry. Hardest part for him was figuring out all the stuff around his belt, really. Not really anything I can say about difficulty. I guess jamming the face into the hole where the face goes was a little weird, but yeah, pretty simple build. Let's do the last one. Last monster hunter, thankfully. I think we'll go by grabbing the body, and then we will do right leg, left leg. I think those are that. And then right here on the left leg is where we will attach these tiny bullets. Hooray. Then on his left hip, right here, attach some more bullets, and I think this is some kind of bear trap. Then we can do the left arm, right arm, either order. The back of the cape poncho thing, the top of the cape poncho thing, his head, and his hat. So we'll start with the body, right leg, left leg. Alright. Right leg, obviously going on the right, so that's the longer leg if you misplaced it. Alright, I think we're good. Now, the left leg. I pressed it down on a flat surface to make sure that both feet would be flat. But now we can go ahead and do that small row of bullets right here on the thigh. Make sure that the bullets are pointing down. Okay. That also looks good. Next is going to be our bullets and bear trap, which will connect right here. The bullets will be on this part, and the bear trap will be kind of on his hip. Okay, cool. It does end up covering up almost entire hip. Alright. Next we will double check our bits. Order of assembly looks like right arm, left arm, cape, top of cape over shoulders, head, and hat. Right arm, pointing that gun straight ahead. Now our left arm, right there. Yeah, seam looks good. Okay, the back of the cape poncho right here. Obviously, the big hole there corresponds to this tooth. There we go. Don't worry about making it too perfectly flush with the shoulders, since the rest of the poncho will just sit on top. So let's go ahead and add that next. How's that? Alright, now the head on the next stump right there. Okay, and lastly, the top hat. Okay, there we go. He is all done. Let's put him on a base. Our second alt monster hunter is done. We're going to call this one Kramer. Looks real weird. Hardest part for this model was the tiny row of bullets on his thigh, and honestly figuring out where everything went without any instructions, but I got it. No real big advice to you except for just follow the order I gave you, because the stuff on his thigh is going to be harder to do with the arms already in place, and I'm not sure if you can actually fit the back of the poncho, cape, whatever, onto his back after you put on the neck. It's possible, though. Anyways, let's look at the whole box. The Latigo Reserves box is all completed, consisting of 3 Pistolero de Latigos and 4 Monster Hunters, 2 of them technically being alts. The difficult spots for this box is mostly just stuff on belts. Some of the limbs were kind of wobbly, and just need to make sure that your gaps are closed, and it looks like it's in a good position for you, and you shall be fine. But overall, a pretty easy construction. So I'm not going to complain. And that's really it. I have been your foreman, Douglas Scoundrels, helping you build a better Malifaux. Have a good night.